Afternoon, everybody. Great to see everyone. You've heard about Matter from a lot of speakers already. I'm just going to give you a little bit of a flavor for what that means in terms of the community, the alliance, the membership of companies that are driving the standard into the world, into every product near you. And if you're not building today with Matter, I sure hope you consider doing that, and sure hope you consider great companies like Tuya in doing so. The Connectivity Standards Alliance is a typical industry organization. We're about 25 years old. You'll know other organizations, sister orgs to ours, like the Wi-Fi Alliance or the Bluetooth SIG. What we do is we bring companies together to get them to agree on how their products will interact so they can deliver better consumer experiences. We know that connected devices deliver great consumer experiences today. That doesn't happen unless one company's device knows how to talk to another company's device. And as you've heard from some terrific companies already here, they're looking to innovate and differentiate on every way, shape, and possible that they can for their products. So how do you get these guys together to agree on not differentiating, but allowing these guys to all interact, all these products to interact in a way that's meaningful and still allows them to find profitability and differentiation? And that's what we do. Today, we number more than 9,000 individuals and over 780 companies. So you've got companies from 48 countries around the world. We have the best engineers, the brightest product managers, and the executives from some incredible companies like our friend Alex from Tuya, who participate and know that this is a market that is just at the beginning. We are just at the beginning of a market based on open standards. And so this is a really important time in 2025 where you see things like Matter really start to take hold, really start to kind of meet the requirements around reliability that's so important for us to then look at what are these great device types that we can bring in. Then I can look at different ways to create different differentiated experiences for users. Matter itself, why is Matter going to be the one that ends up being the right interoperability standard? First, we've taken an open approach. So that open approach means embracing open standards that are already used today. And Matter is a unifying standard. It is not trying to create something new that you don't know anything about. In terms of networking protocol, Matter is that language of devices. Well, that language of devices needs to be understood across networks that we understand. What do we all understand? IP. So we're taking interoperability and using Internet Protocol as our base network interoperability standard. Second, we know through decades of development and product development experience that it's really important for developers to have a simplified development path. And so we do that through proven methods that we've done with hundreds of companies, dozens of years of experience in bringing that into this standard. And that's what we've done over the last 6 years in getting this thing going. We know that these standards are useful, technical standards are important, but unless they're enabling choice across multi-vendor environments, that's not going to work for consumers. So consumers have to have an ability to choose. If companies want to participate in that, they need to know that that experience is going to be the same if they're engaging with a very fierce competitor or a close partner. And so we need to make sure that the standard supports increased choice. We'll talk a little bit about multi-admin and things like that allow you in your own home to have different devices talking to different ecosystems. So again, that end user experience is seamless. Fourth, rapid global adoption and transformative impact. Matter is changing really the roadmap for product development in the world today. Talked about 48 countries. Most of the map was colored in there because companies and markets everywhere, retailers everywhere are starting to embrace Matter. Standards take time. Standards, it's a journey. It takes decades sometimes for some of these to get into the market and get to this point. We are so fortunate that we have the backing and support of those hundreds of companies, but especially the companies that really own and manage their own ecosystems. So you already heard from Amazon, as well as Google and Apple, Samsung, SmartThings, and the list goes on. They're all in. And I can share with you that they're continuing to double down on their investment and making sure that we start to hit really strong reliability in terms of commissioning and joining for these devices in basic networks. And this is what's going to drive success for the standard. Then product manufacturers that have 10 SKUs at 200,000 units in a year are going to have a great place to differentiate and bring cool products. Or if they have 5,000 SKUs and tens of billions of devices, tens of millions of devices, they're all going to have a place to play with Matter in this year and coming up. And then lastly, it's important that as we, for consumers, start to look at what does that mean in terms of, I'm a consumer, I'm looking for a device, I want just this cool experience. That basic building block is that cool Matter logo. So looking for a seal of approval, the devices will work seamlessly and securely together. So that's a bit of where Matter is and what Matter is about. We're evolving and extending the reach of the devices. Today, these are the devices supported by Matter. Within each one of these device categories are a number of different features. You can start to see these already on shelves or on websites. Your favorite retailer is bringing tons and tons of Matter devices into the market. This work is never done. Device features within safety and security, we may be getting some great sensors, but what can the sensor do? Let's add some more to it to get an idea that these sensors and these controllers, as they make up smart home environments that then of course tie into smart cities, are going to increase in terms of their own capability and the device features that they have. So this is a great starting list. This is a great core group of Matter products that include what we already know and have good experience around, whether that's lighting, door locks, media devices, lighting, electrical as well. So it's a good grouping. We have over thousands of products that have gone through certification. Once they go through certification, that of course is the precursor to then seeing them on shelves in a store near you. I mentioned the device type, but I'll say it on every slide. One of the big focus areas for us this year is reliability, making sure that these products come together quickly and easily and you get that seamless experience. And the thousands of people involved and engaged in these working groups are focused on delivering that. And that's backed by all the companies that you've seen here today. We also follow a fairly rigorous and strict release plan. What we try to do is meet 2 releases a year. And what we're doing through these releases, and we're on 1.4, so the working group and the members and the engineers have done an incredible job keeping that up, that feverish pace, because we know early on in this journey, we need to be pushing out releases, making things up to date, learning from the implementations, and that's where standards really differentiate, is not just a piece of paper, but going through understanding how these are being used, how they're being used in complex environments, bringing that back into the specification and standard. So we're starting to see a lot of focus and improvement on reliability. And we're hitting these 2 releases a year. We'll have 1.5 out in the spring, 1.6 out later this year as well. We have a lot of active use cases. This is my call to action to you. If you have a device that's not covered in that device category or not covered in these, come on in. This is an open community. Take a look at the GitHub, take a look at the code, see what you like, start developing that. If you don't know some of your competitors, and I know you do, grab 2 or 3, come together. This is how we work. It's an open community. Sit down, let's agree on what we're going to talk about, what we're going to exchange, whether that's in robot vacuums, media devices, cameras, things like that. We agree on what we're going to put into the standard, what we're going to keep for ourselves to differentiate on. This is how standards work. This is how we build markets. This is how we delight customers. Important in those learnings that I talked about, Matter is not just another piece of paper. Matter is an interoperability standard backed by dozens and hundreds of companies with thousands of developers. We've learned from Bluetooth, we've learned from Wi-Fi, we've learned from Zigbee, great standards that continue to be strong today. How do you take the lessons learned there? And what you do is you help the developer community. You don't just simply have one event, have some conference calls, agree on what the paper is, edit that, throw it out to the web, and hope that people know how to implement it. We do interop tests, we do plug fests, we have developer tools, we have test scripts, we have a great suite, and most importantly, we have our open source SDK. And that allows folks to really get right into the code, and we have a rich ecosystem of companies, authorized test laboratories. You cannot throw a dart without hitting somebody who is supporting Matter, both at the chip level, the software development side, helping so many different areas, especially from Alex's team, as well as product manufacturers. So it's a great time and a great opportunity to get into the Matter game. I talked about this notion of a complete specification. We have our certification program. We have an interop lab after you go through working with your own development process. If you want to bring it into the Alliance Test Lab, we have dozens and dozens of devices. As a member, it's a member benefit. Bring it in, test it, see how it works before you go to market. It's a great opportunity. And hopefully you saw today that interop lab and that capability that we have today for the Alliance is now being recognized by a lot of the major players and being accepted as that key testing before you go into their programs. So it's a great way for you to get a leg up and get faster time to market with multiple ecosystems. Again, we talked about the toolkit. And again, just this last one, the Alliance developer community is really a force multiplier. If you are 5 folks inside a garage working on a product, come join the Alliance. We have hundreds of people at our member meetings. We have dozens and dozens and hundreds on conference calls. Join as a participant in the Alliance, and you'll get a view to how things are done. You'll also have access to the world's leading experts on interoperability, the world's leading experts on security, the world's leading product developers and designers. Not a bad group to join. And I can tell you, it is a special community. When people come into the Alliance, it is about building a market together, and it is a very special place, and you will be infected by that great enthusiasm that our members have and the companies have in actually bringing together this new future of open standards that develop underneath Matter. So again, I want to thank you for the time today to talk about Matter, the Alliance. Thank you so much, Alex and the Tuya team. This is a great member company, along with so many other member companies that are joining you today and talking about their great innovation in smart home. This is really a stepping stone on the way into a future of the open standards that are really building this new era for open smart home. So now is the time to get engaged. Now is the time to start developing with Matter. Now is the time to get together with Tuya and other great folks. So thank you very much. Have a great show. Thank you.